remember? So neither one of them can function without each other, which they still haven't figured out. Both of them are trying to fight against each other to rule the world. But at the end of the day, I'm sitting here with control over all of the access codes, key codes, data codes, identity codes, family codes, and everything else that everybody needs to get money out of the system. So I had to figure out a way, okay, if we're going to transfer money into the new system, right, into the front side banking system for all of you, how do I prevent these people from stealing the codes as the data packages flow through the sequence? Had a great idea. So now all the codes are transaction specific. So it doesn't matter if it's a family code or it's a NSA code or it only goes to those allocations. They're married, okay? So let me give you an example. Here. So in order to get money through to, say, JP Morgan or any one of the other places or the Treasury Department, so I'm flowing through the cycle, 6-3, right? Okay, so back system. Okay, Treasury. Okay, I'm going from me, and I'm going through 6, Federal Reserve. Okay, we have here an access code, so they can see that a message has come in, that they can't open it. So it's kind of like when someone sends you a secure file on one of these like Hushmail or Dropbox or whatever it is, it asks you for a PIN code so that you can actually view the file. That's what this is here. Now, in the past, the Federal Reserve would have issued a key code. Okay, this says, okay, I accessed your package and I've looked at it. Now I'm going to issue you a key code and I'm going to say, okay, it's approved by the Fed, which means that it's registered, okay, in all of the places that the books are held. So that would be your GCHQ and all the other levels that we previously discussed. We have in the United States, we have the General Office of Accounting, we have the Office of the Comptroller of Currency. There's so much redundancy in the system, it's ridiculous. But everybody with a hand has their hand in the pot, okay? Now, I got to go to level 3, which is the Treasury Department, right? Now remember, I said level 3 is predominantly CIA or agency of someone or another or Black Sun, right? So it makes sense that Mnuchin is Black Sun, right? Okay, these people are Rothschild. Okay, so I got to go from here now to here. So what has to happen when it hits here? So now these people are going to go, hey, wait a minute, right? I can't access this package. Okay, so they also need an access code and a data code. So once that goes into here, okay, they got to have the access code and the data code, which I also issue. So I'm issuing these two, and then I'm going to issue these two. Okay, I'm going to register them in the front side system. Now with the data code, once they enter that, what comes up are all your allocation numbers, okay? So now you've got your complete and total registration, front system and back system of the new allocation of money. So if you're going to deposit $1,000, right, I can issue an allocation number for $100 bills, which is like the serial number you see on the paper ones, right, times 10, right? So that's what you would see when they opened this up. They would see a registration number for $100 bills to get to that $1,000 number. Now, if it's 500 million or a trillion or something, that's a lot of numbers that get registered in the system once they hit that button. Okay? Now, they got to get that money over to you, right? That's the next step. So you got to pass through a 4 and a 5 pentagon. And your indexing system, let's call it. Okay. Now, in level 4, what they used to have control over are things like, for example, how much money can Mary Doe have in her account? And they would change it, and they say, oh, if she hits any more than $10,000 at a time, trigger us, let us know. This person is completely blackballed, so they'll allow you like maybe $1,000 in a bank account at a time. But if you were to try to get maybe $1 million, right, this system right here would trigger and it would reject you. But it's an access code and a batching code. Okay, so these guys would have said, okay, it's permissible for you to pass, but it would have taken these guys here to allow that dollar to come through. So now I also issue these batching codes and the access code, right? Now let's go back. Now we got to go to level 8. So now I need the BIS. Oh, forgot 7 and 2 in here. 7 and 2. So I have to also enter the family code. Access, and my NSA override. It's called the level 23 compliance. Okay. So I didn't know any of this when I started this program 4 years ago, so I think I've come a long way. So you guys got to kind of bear with me here a little bit. Okay. So 7 and 2, access and compliance code, also called a remuneration code, has to be entered in here. And then your BIS, IMF override, and then eventually you hit level 1, okay? Where you live, your bank. Okay, now I'm going to take you up. What is level 1? Okay, who issues bank software? Who issues bank hardware? Who does everybody buy from? Which also has a backdoor in what's called level 0 assembly processing. You have IBM systems, HP systems, Microsoft systems, right? So now we've got software and hardware issues that come into play here. So you got to lock those doors before you get to this point. So this is all level 1, load balancer. Banking server systems, which will have many redundancies, data centers, and whatnot from around the world. That's the servers right here, okay? Now, you got to go from there, and you're going to come out of one of these servers, and they have a hack-proof thing here. So they'll know if the back office access codes and data codes and batch numbers are incorrect, because it will send you into what's called the abyss, right? Some people call it a honeycomb, honey net, and that's a honey trap. That's where all of the wrong transactions get deleted, right? So when the hackers go in and try to fake and put $1 billion, or your Prometheus systems, or your Chinese elders, or your Westland New Zealand people, or your Norway people try to put money back, they take it out of the system. Remember, they siphoned it out of the back system. They siphoned it out of the front system, right? Through the stock markets and all of this stuff. They put it into a little subsection over here, and then it says, then they want to put it back in, right, in the form of the RV. Well, that doesn't exactly work, because you don't have an access code and a key code anymore. You don't have a data code. You don't have a bypass and batch number. You don't have this information. Once you've taken it out, it's not coming back, Mr. Obama, no matter how much you stomp your feet and cry and complain, okay? Then from here, you start hitting the web servers, which is where you live, right? This is where your stuff is. When you log in on your app or the internet, you go into the teller window, this is where you've got to get to. There's also another load balancer that exists in here. And each one of these things were manufactured by predominantly one of these people, okay? So we have gotten past here, right? And we're hanging out here. And we've gotten redirected over here, which is, I found out how that exists. You've also got the UN in here, which has been given access by these people to divert us once before. And when I say we're waiting for funds to clear, all I want to do is go from here to here and not have to talk to the UN, IBM, HP, Microsoft, or anybody else owned by Halliburton or Dick Cheney or any of these other folks. I just want to go to you. So I've got a little bit of work left to do in here just to go directly, but we do have no problem hitting a bank now. Okay, so all those access codes, data codes, and key codes that you saw, that's already been finished for all of us, right? So what does the Fed do? Okay, I want to explain to you the Fed real quick, just so you understand, because everybody's like, down with the Fed, down with the Fed, replace it with the Chinese system, and all of these types of things. Now, remember the front system was built by the back system and not the other way around, okay? So the base platform of the front system has to coordinate with the back system, which is why the Federal Reserve has the capacity to process so many transactions per second. Neither gatekeeper nor the Federal Reserve was built without the cooperation of the others, okay? Both of them were built that way. That's why when I tell you your blockchains and the QFSs and the things Google's doing and whatever, you're not even in the neighborhood of what's really going on here, okay?